They had a lot of adversity in the beginning of the season. Fought back from that, climbed their way all the way to the top. Um, Not only the Eastern Conference with the second seed, but also made it through the Eastern Conference into the NBA Finals. A team that was trying to build something of significance for several years now, and they finally made their way all the way to the NBA Finals. I don't think this team is going anywhere, despite popular belief that people believe that people just believe for whatever reason that is going to be done, that that they're going to be finished, that they got lucky. No, the reality is that that they were. This is a team that has been amazing for the better part of the past 7 years now, and they've constantly been able to get the right pieces. Even with the revolving doors of point guards that they've had and other supplementary pieces, they've still been able to get the right pieces to get where they need to be, and finally cracked it to the NBA Finals. So I have to give a lot of credit to them. They played really great this year. And we'll get into a little bit more details about what happened in Game 6. Maybe Ash will join me in a second. Um, but yeah, it's definitely um, great season for them. Second thing I have to highlight. Congrats to the congrats to you guys. Let me say that as well. Congrats to you guys because I think you all for supporting me throughout the entire season. I thank y'all for that. We're not gonna be done. Still got the off season, got trades and signings, and of course we have the draft. But I thank y'all for supporting me all season long. But more importantly, shout out to the Golden State Warriors. They come out with the win. I'm pretty sure some of you all probably seen my tweet where I called it in the beginning of the season. I was like, oh no, the Warriors will be good this year. I think a lot of people were overreacting to them, and maybe some of their decision making and things of that nature. But they definitely pieced together a really great roster and found themselves wherever they needed to be. Um, and it sounds great. It sounds great, and it looks even better now because this team is amazing, immaculate. Steph Curry, Finals MVP, one of the greatest scoring performances we've ever seen in Finals history. Averaged 30 plus points on 62 true shooting. That I mean, for people who don't know, that is Shaq level efficiency. And unlike Shaq, Curry had to do it while being defended against the number one ranked defense and having the defensive player of the year defending him. I take that back. Shaq actually did exactly that when with Mutombo, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Sixers were actually a top ranked defense. So I take that back. Shaq did do that, but nevertheless, though, still Shaq level scoring performance from Curry, the level of dominance that he displayed throughout the entire playoffs was amazing, and it just ramped it up to a whole nother level once he made it to the NBA Finals. Just straight amazing. It was a great performance. Um, second player we have to highlight is Andrew Wiggins. He was amazing all series long. Probably missed some timely threes here and there, but nevertheless, still a really great performance from Andrew Wiggins. Came from Minnesota beginnings and turned that into a championship. Was on the right team that helped him develop and understand who he's supposed to be as a player. And he looks great standing alongside Curry, Clay, and Draymond this entire season. Speaking of Dre and Clay, especially Draymond, he struggled in the beginning of the series, bounced back though, played much better. But the intensity that Draymond plays with, not only in the playoffs but in the regular season, is very contagious. It's very influential to this team's identity, and it has been for the better part of the last 8 years now. And Klay Thompson, which is crazy because this is probably as worse as Klay will probably ever play in these upcoming years, and the fact that they still rung off a championship should immediately mean that they will continue to be perform extremely well moving forward. Now, will that translate to a championship? Who knows? But this team, this dynasty, this organization, these three players, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. If you believe that they are, please remind yourself of who they are and what they've been able to accomplish. And as I say that, um, the Warriors, and I say this sincerely, one of the greatest dynasties that you will ever lay eyes on. The level of winning, the level of consistency, the level of execution, the level of defense, on par with um, the MJ Bulls, on par with the San Antonio Spurs, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and et cetera, Tony Parker, on par with, and then we go back to the Bulls with Scottie Pippen as well and Phil Jackson, on par with the Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, on par with Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, and Larry Bird. That's the level of dominance we're seeing. If you were unaware, the only team that has beaten that trio in the playoffs, the only team that has beaten that team in the playoffs is LeBron James in 2016. LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, that Cleveland Cavaliers roster, that is the only team that has beaten this team in the past 8 years in the playoffs when they're all healthy. Of course, people are gonna say the Raptors. Klay Thompson was not he was not healthy the entire series. But that's it. That's the only team. Furthermore, in particular to Steph Curry, and I'm gonna bring some people up. People may think that I'm overreacting. You're living in the moment. I've been saying this for months now, so this isn't new to me. Especially behind this performing at this level with the number one ranked defense against the number one ranked defense. DPOY, Marcus Smart as your primary defender. All league defenders surrounding you. Coming into paint with Rob Williams coming with the help. For Curry to do what he did this year, I don't know how we cannot have these conversations of being a top 10 player of all time. And in my opinion, I have Curry over Larry Bird now. The way he's transformed the game, the way he's been able to, and when I say the game, not just the Warriors, not just the point guard position, not just the NBA, the way that we talk, and not even just players who play the game of basketball. Even as a spectator, the way that I watch the game of basketball has changed severely because of Stephen Curry. The way that we consume basketball has changed because of Stephen Curry. That is impact beyond the court. That is impact on everybody's day-to-day living, their lifestyle. That's who Steph Curry is. That's why he should be in the conversation being top 10. And for me, he is a top 10 player. And I'm putting Larry Bird out of the top 10 for him. Let me bring Ash up here and we can continue to talk. And as we continue to add on to it, it's a shame that Draymond was not a top 75 player. Because I said it at the time, I believe he was. This is further proof to why he should be. I don't know why people were complaining about Wiggins as a player. If you watched him play, he was playing at this level, especially defensively, for a good portion of the year. And again, this is a team that will more than likely just get better. Next year, we're going to get a full, healthy season of Klay Thompson. Progress from Jordan Poole and Gary Payton. And trades can still be made to make this team a bigger threat. Kuminga, Moody, Wiseman. Again, the Warriors are not going anywhere. If you have a problem with that, get used to it. Especially if you some insecure nigga who's upset about light-skinned players. Get used to it. They're not going nowhere. And they haven't been going nowhere for the better part of the last decade now. Because it's coming up on a fucking decade. Ash. Oh, no, he's left. Let me bring some people up. This nigga Ash just left. What the fuck? Oh. Yeah. I sent you the co-host. Ash, you there? Let me see. Bring some people up real quick. Hey, this shit is bugging, so I know for a fact I got a lot of people in here. You almost got 2,000. This shit is tough.
Yo, nigga, can you hear me now?
Yo.
I can hear you now. Yeah, it's bugging. It's bugging.
All right, give me a sec. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you too. I can hear you.
Am I lagging?
Can you see how many people? Can you see how many people we have requested?
I can see most of them. I see some of them. Yeah. Why?
No, on my end it's only like 4. So
Yeah, I
you're
can
gonna
see
have to
1,
bring
2.
people
Yeah,
up.
I can see like a whole bunch of them. Wait.
Yeah, Brent.
But let me say some things. First, that was a beautiful speech. I'm waiting for Mike Breen's speech before I start crying because the season's over. That was a great speech you had, Lo. Man, congrats to the Warriors, dog. Congrats to those niggas, man. As much as I hate to see these niggas win, bro, you just gotta respect it. At the end of the day, bro, we witnessing greatness, bro. Like we actually watching like a modern day Magic, like like modern, like in terms of like the teams and like the leadership of the teams, Magic, Bird, LeBron, Jordan, like we actually seeing that, like we like that shit used to be like a bit like a legend for us, like just something that we would appreciate, like the dominance of these guys. We actually watched that nigga just completely dominate his way to multiple championships. 4 fucking rings in 6 years is crazy shit, man. This nigga's definitely a top 10 player. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. He's moving up over Bird for me. He has enough longevity to move over that white fuck. And he's coming. And if he's not over Magic, he's gonna be right over him like next year.
Said this white fuck. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I don't.
I will be honest though. If they win again, no, Curry's gonna.
I don't even think he needs to win. I just think he needs like another year.
But I'm just saying if he does win again, he gonna start jumping. Curry gonna start jumping like real niggas.
He gonna start jumping like the real niggas. Bro.
Yeah, and y'all gonna be upset if we had that conversation, but he gonna start jumping real names.
The real names that people are gonna be very upset about.
Yeah, but it will be true if Curry wins again, he will definitely. I'll say it. Fuck it. If Curry wins again, he will definitely be higher than Kobe for me.
To talk about the game real briefly before I bring niggas up, Draymond today, dog. Man, Game 6 Draymond, bro. Nigga came out, he came to hoop, bro. If Draymond has hit 3 jumpers, bro, just pack it up. Pack it up, man. The Warriors don't lose when he hits a 3, and he hit 2 of them bitches tonight, bro. I already knew Boston was losing when I seen him hit that one. What was it, corner 3 to start out the game, bro? Just crazy. He was so good on defense tonight, dog. Like, that's all we've been asking Draymond. Just, like, look to do something on offense, bro. You ain't got to, like, be getting, like, 20 or some shit. Just look to go do something. You just saw, like, a little bit more how fluid the Warriors offense could be. It was really nice. Clay put up a stinker tonight. Who really cares? They won a championship.
Game 6 Clay.
I'm not congrats to Clay, man. Congrats to him. As much as I slander that nigga, congrats to him. Come back after 2 years, be a part of a team that won another championship. I mean, that's some pretty insane stuff. The only gripe I had with you was you out there gassing up that Celtics defense. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we not gonna sit here and act like they wasn't playing some nasty defense from for Steph to like have the points per game and the efficiency in which he did. Constantly dropping. No. I'm gonna respect. No. Like, Steph's that great of a player. I'm not taking away from Steph. I'm just saying.
It's not really that. And I'm not saying you doing this, but the reason why I'm gonna hype it up because when everybody else gets that type of defense, we hyped him up. Kevin Durant was getting played help defense. I mean, drop coverage in last year's playoffs run against the Bucks. Like, and we hyped him up. So Curry finally, I mean, goddamn, he finally gets to have like that type of defense on him.
I'm not going to.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not. No. Listen, like, you misunderstand. I'm not taking anything away from Steph. Steph is him. Like, I don't really care about all that. I'm just saying, like, to me at least, because I think I'm a little more consistent with it, as opposed to those KD fans you're referencing, right? Just a little bit. That I'm not. Like, when I'm comparing this to like other all-time great final series, I'm not going to sit here and like be like, oh shit, Steph was like, this is like a top 5 finals performance ever or some shit like that. Like, nah, it wasn't, but it was still amazing, bro. What he was doing to Marcus Smart and Al Horford and Jaylen Brown in isolation, how he was killing. His off-ball movement was ridiculous this series. Props to Steph. That nigga's him, bro. What do you? By the way, Lo, real quick, where do you have Steph finishing this year? Like, top what for this season? Like, what do you think? Because I think heading into the playoffs, I think people thought he probably was like an arguable not top 5 player. So, like, what are you thinking after these playoffs?
No, he's top five. It's really hard to gauge it between, especially the players who healthy who played this year. It's hard to gauge between Curry, Giannis, Jokic, um, and if you still want to throw the LeBron lifeline out there, LeBron.
You don't think Luka or Embiid have an
I'm
argument?
sorry, Luka. Let me throw the Luka lifeline out there. Those are the four I would say that are ahead. Embiid, it's hard to gauge Embiid because he gets hurt every single postseason run. So I can't. It's hard for me to say that. Regular season, I can see why people said Embiid, but in the playoffs, it's just really hard to gauge what type of player Embiid is. I mean, it really is. So, um, but I will say that I would put Curry top five because Embiid is kind of up with that, and the other four are the only ones that I would consider ahead of him or in the conversations with. Um, but yeah, I mean that's what I would put him there. But his offensively, he's playing at the same level in my opinion, or at least near it as Jokic. So like that alone would put him in a conversation for a top five player.
Okay, yeah, I pretty much agree. I think Seth's probably like a little higher. I don't know. I mean, I was going back and forth between him and Luka. I think like they're probably like, I think Seth's probably like the third best player to like end this season, like in totality. You know,
I think he's better.
maybe.
Let me be clear. I think he's better than Luka though. I would rather have.
Yeah,
Curry.
but that's what I just said. Yeah, I think he's like behind Giannis and Jokic at least. And if you want to like, I still have Giannis as the best player in the world. But like, if you want to make an argument for Seth being the best player, I wouldn't have an issue with it. So, but yeah.
I would have an issue with that, but that's fine. But yeah, I think Curry
Giannis is better though. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I agree. Giannis is better. But man, it's just greatness, bro. That's what we saw tonight, man. We saw that man etch his name in history. I mean, I believe
Which he didn't need to, by the way. But
yeah, he didn't need to, but there's nothing wrong with just reconfirming what everybody should have already known. And there really is no debate anymore. It shouldn't have been a debate, but there really is no debate about what his legacy is. Like, but if you thought, hey man, he beat an injured team in 2015, what's the argument now? You can't use it. If you thought, hey man, he had KD, he's won 2 championships without KD. Like you thought he can't show up in the finals. I mean, he just averaged over 30 plus in these finals, one of the greatest finals performances in game 4. So like you thought he can't step up in the fourth quarters. He stepped up in this fourth quarter to close it out, and he stepped up in game 4. And he didn't even play the fourth quarter in game 2. So like Curry, he answered all the narratives. He won his first Finals MVP. I don't see how he's not in anybody's top 10 at this point going forward. I don't think he's the best player in the world, but I definitely think outside of Giannis, you could put him really anywhere on your list if he's in the top 5. But yeah, man, like this just a cemented legacy. This was his version of like, I'm not saying it's as great, but like the way like 2016 cemented LeBron, the way like 2010 cemented Kobe, the way like certain rings, it's like that extra stamp of
like how '93 cemented Jordan. Like those rings were like
they just cement what you are. Yeah, you're in that upper echelon now. You have nothing left to. I mean, technically, those players had nothing left to prove before, but it's like now there's nothing that can touch your legacy to stain it. Like there's just nothing. No argument.
It's not really. It's undeniable. Like
undeniable.
like you said, it's just at before Kobe 09. I mean, it was like, oh well, Shaq and da 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 da. Before LeBron, with the Cavaliers just put it over the top. They're rings that really put it over the top for certain players. And this is certainly it. I just don't. I think people don't really understand, man. Like Curry having 4 championships, four championships, and the one
in 6 appearances, bro. That's the craziest thing.
In six appearances, and essentially, if you want to say 8 years, fine. That's still fucking impressive. Six finals appearances in 8 years, but more importantly, when Clay, Draymond, and Curry are healthy, and they only had to be healthy for a full fucking year because Clay wasn't even healthy for the full year this year.
None of them were actually.
None
None
of
of them
them
were.
were.
Yeah, none of them were. When Clay, when they're healthy and they're playing together, they go into the playoffs healthy and they're playing. Nigga, LeBron and Kyrie, that's the only people who can say that they were able to beat this team, bro. That's
LeBron playing the
it.
best
You
basketball
know,
of his
I'm
life.
saying it took
and you know
LeBron
what's
playing at like levels like I
Yeah,
can
and
only say like
LeBron had
3
to.
other niggas
Yeah.
played at, bro.
and
Because
mind you, and
Because
Like
mind
he
you,
put up
Anthony
a
LeBron
40-point double,
and
the
and
greatest game I've ever seen.
and
and
like
what's crazy about
go.
this is I don't know how y'all feel about this, but I personally believe the fact there's only been I want to say since the 80s, we don't really see smaller guards or guards in general, like point guards,
Yes.
win championships as the number one. Curry not only did it once, even if you want to say KD was better in those years, which I disagree, but even if you want to say that, he's done it twice now. He's done it twice, Isaiah Thomas did it, and now Curry did it. Those are really the only two guards. Look at all the
Small
great
guards,
point
right?
guards.
You mean small guards?
Those
That's what
might
it's
be the only
for.
ones in
Small
history,
guards,
right?
Okay.
Look at all the
Those are the
small
only two I
guards.
can think of in
Even
history.
even
Yeah.
point guards in general. Look at all the small point guards in the league. Chris Paul, no rings. If you consider Iverson a point guard, no rings. Steve Nash, no rings. All these guys, they just weren't able to do it. And whether it was because of injuries, bad defense, certain flaws in their game, Curry was able to overcome certain flaws in his game because of just how revolutionary he was the game of basketball and how he changed it. And it is what it is. The
And you
guys
know what
just into
you know what
themselves.
the craziest thing is about this, bro? They might do this shit again next year.
That's what I be
That would
saying.
really be crazy.
That's what I'm
low-key-
saying. I don't really know what would be stopping them.
This
Because
low key,
again, they
but
can.
Maybe
wait,
a healthy
also,
Bucks team, maybe
wait,
with
wait,
Yeah,
but
Giannis
in the
playing
finals.
all-time
If they
basketball.
get- if they
I
get
was
the
having a
right
conversation
pieces.
with somebody about this. This low key gives me 2014 Spurs vibes. The next year when the conference gets healthier, or in some ways some other teams get better, they might be out sooner than we think. It just gives me
Yo,
those kind of
Warriors
vibes.
hitters better hope this nigga Kawhi comes back playing
Not in
all-time
the West.
basketball.
Not in the West. I don't think because the problem with the
Clippers
West
are
right
coming
now.
back. Not gonna lie, Clippers are
the
And
coming
and
only
the
back.
Clippers are
Nuggets
coming
will get
back.
And
Nuggets
healthier.
are
James
coming back.
Wiseman is
The
coming
Nuggets will
back,
get
so they will
healthier.
have better center
is
depth.
the only
If
the only
Wiseman
two.
takes that leap, he should take. But
Yeah, if Wiseman does, but the only two teams I could see maybe, and I'm just being optimistic about Jamal Murray and this is me being very very optimistic are the Nuggets. If they are 100% healthy, Nuggets are
The
going to
Clippers can.
put some
Clippers
respect
can do
on
I don't know if the
and
Nuggets
then
have
and
the
then
defense though.
that's what I was
Respect
gonna
the
say. I was
Bucks.
gonna say the Clippers. The Clippers are the other team.
What about
That's
the
the
Bucks? Oh,
no, I'm
the
talking about the
West, you
West.
mean?
The West. The
Oh,
West. The
okay,
West. The
okay.
West.
I'm
And
taking
I
the
was
Mavs over the Clippers.
now
I mean,
I was even
I
though
personally believe that if the Bucks made the finals, they would have beat the Warriors.
Agreed.
me too.
That's only because of
I
matchups,
would.
though.
They weren't stopping
If was
Giannis.
a fifth, we
Yeah,
all
it's
be
just
beat.
it's just
I
the
was shaking in
matchup.
my fucking
Giannis'
boots
size
to
is just
play
the
Giannis.
way
but
Rob
also
Will dominated. The way Rob Will dominated in this series, I could easily see Giannis just
but also I
killing.
feel like
And
people
that's fair, but I
Yeah,
still
that's
don't
fair. But
think
injuries,
I,
the thing is, I'm not blaming the Warriors for that because injuries are a part of the game.
yeah.
You just gotta move
And
on.
it's always a part of the game when it comes to them. But let me stay
I,
quiet.
I get.
Oh,
What?
Relax,
Nah,
relax,
now
Robert
this
guys.
is
Williams was
victim
not, bro.
mentality.
Robert Williams played
I
basketball. He was not injured.
I think the Bucks.
I mean, he was
take is-
injured, but he played, bro. So I'm not gonna use that as an excuse.
I think the Bucks take is pretty solid. I just feel like they even if the Bucks made it to the finals, they wouldn't. I wouldn't say they wouldn't have a chance because they don't have the best player in the world. I just I don't know. I just don't think
They'd at least execute well. They'd at
that's
least
and that's
execute.
fair. But I just feel like Drew Holiday is real shaky, especially offensively at times, and I just don't.
But
They would
but
be
I
able to
feel like
combat that.
And I
the
also
reason he
don't think
looks
Drew is doing any better on Steph.
but the reason
Neither
Drew
do I.
look but the
Marcus.
Yeah,
reason Drew
I
looks
agree.
shaky is because he was forced into a role as a secondary offensive
He
player.
looked shaky
And,
last season.
No,
when
he looked
usually
shaky last year too. That
no
nigga
no
was
he did look
He was
shaky
even
last
worse
year,
last
but
season.
also
If I'm
I
being
mean, he
honest,
looked
like,
better
besides
this
the
year
fourth
than
quarter.
he did last year.
Yeah,
but I feel
besides the fourth quarter, Drew Holiday
Yeah.
was playing way worse on offense.
but I feel like when Chris
Yeah,
Middleton
especially in
is
that
there,
game 7. Oh my god.
Yeah,
but I feel
Hey,
like when Chris Middleton is there, it alleviates the pressure from him, in terms of his offensive load and
my nigga, he played better on offense than he
I don't
did.
even.
last
I don't
What are you
even.
saying?
The thing is,
There might be
honestly,
inconsistent roles.
forget
I
Giannis.
just-
I don't even think. I think Middleton's real effect is just alleviating that off Drew Holiday. Like Drew Holiday wouldn't have even had to take certain shots in that fucking
Batman.
series if Middleton was
Yo,
there.
lower Ash, man. Add that Tatum is a fraud to this title, bro. Please.
I'm about to say,
We need to
Not
talk
gonna
about
lie,
The
that.
we
niggas
need
can't
to.
dribble, dog.
Hey, before
I,
before we
but
get on,
I'm trying to I'm trying to be
Hey,
I'm trying to stay positive.
wait.
I'm very
First off,
positive.
real quick though, I know you're mad, Trey, but like, why do we have to do this every time somebody loses? Like, I know he was bad, bro, but he's not a fraud, man. I get it, bro. He was bad. The turnovers were bad, but he's not a fraud, bro. Come on, man. You
That
can lose a
100
series
that
without
100
being a
turnover
fraud.
stat is the craziest stat I've seen in quite some time.
No, let me
That
explain
nigga
why I
got
said
locked up
that.
by
Ash.
Wiggins, dog.
Hold on, let me
He was
explain why I
already
said
number
that.
one
Let-
Wait,
before this
100
game.
turnovers in
Yeah,
what?
Not
sure,
gonna
he had
lie,
100
he's
turnovers
definitely
in
a
this fourth
fraud,
season.
bro. He's a fraud,
But
bro.
Ash, let me explain why I say that, right? So this game, I think Cher was the only one that heard me say this yesterday. Saint was also in the space. I expected Tatum and Brown to empty out the clip. I expected us to really play like this was the last game of the season potentially, which because it was, and really put that in perspective. This game was the most important game of the year, most important game of their careers. Jaylen Brown had 34. Tatum had 11 points in the first quarter and then scored 2 points after that. Tatum also
Wait, he had
kept turning the
13
ball
today?
over.
That's
Yeah,
spooky.
it was
Tatum
fucking
also had
disgusting. That
13.
nigga
spooky.
could not make a
Hold
field goal in
on,
the second
I'm
half.
trying
Wait, my
to.
bad.
I can't. I
Hold on,
can't.
hold on. He's almost done. He's almost done.
Tatum also had multiple turnovers. He was never aggressive in the paint, and I don't even know how many shots he took, but I think it was less than 20. Brown is the only one, despite his limitations. Brown's the only one that kept putting pressure on the rim, kept going to no. Al Horford had a good like 5 minutes. I'm not trying to say Jaylen Brown's the only one that played good on offense. That's all I'm saying. But Jaylen Brown is the only one out of the Jays that actually played like this was the last game of the season, and this was a do or die situation. I needed them to empty out the clip, and Tatum did not do that. And Tatum's going to be put in this superstar echelon, this top 10, top 15 type of mentality. He needs to play better. If he's going to be the best player on a contending team, he cannot have 13 points in a finals game where it's a do or die situation. That's a game 7 scenario.
Well, how about this? Maybe he's not. And I've been saying this. I've been saying it all which call it long. He's not that guy. He's not him. And that is okay. It's okay. I just think y'all need to make adjustments or still play a certain type of way. But he played a horrible. I don't know how many people was watching me on stream today, but I was like calling it out routinely. Like, bro, like the fact that they have matchups with Curry and they're not going at it, it was crazy. And they would go stretches where that would be the only time they would score. But for people out there who don't know, just so we can get the numbers straight, yeah, Jason Tatum scored 13 points today on 6 for 18 shooting, 1 for 4 from behind the arc, and a nigga that is 6'9", 6'10", couldn't get to the free throw line once.
How many turnovers?
Yikes.
Why did he keep driving on that nigga Andrew Wiggins every fucking play?
No, it wasn't even Wiggins today. It wasn't just Wiggins today. He didn't take a shot over Stephen Curry in the corner.
Bro,
He
Steph
literally
was
jabbed
literally
Steph for
That is
no
true.
reason.
Steph was.
He didn't take shots on
locking up
Draymond
and that
Green.
bro.
He didn't take shots on Jordan Poole. He didn't take he kept, and then every time he didn't get a
The
call,
Tatum
every
shit
time
though
he
was
didn't get
kind
a
of
call, he
nasty.
kept complaining.
The Tatum
He does the same pouting face every time he
Yeah,
drives to the
that takes.
basket. It's the
Hey,
same
Do a
pouting face every
sidestep,
time.
bro.
Euro step,
Remember
weak ass
after
layup,
game
high
one,
to the
we were
right.
in this
That
space.
nigga's
Hold on.
embarrassment,
Every
man.
After
time.
game one, I
And the
think
thing
I
with
see a lot
Tatum,
of
the thing with Tatum,
what's it called
honestly,
memorable. Oh, real quick, someone asked me after that amazing fourth quarter from the Celtics when they took a 1-0 lead, and I was still like Warriors in 6. I remember this clear. They asked me what makes me think the Warriors will still win. I'm not trying to act like I'm their analyst. My answer was simply the Celtics as a collective didn't have the mentality, and that's all I said. We saw this each and every game. For one reason or the other, they didn't have that championship mentality. Then again, though, Tatum is only 24, Brown is 25. It's really up to him. He has a long
Also,
off
they're
season.
going
He
after
can
Tatum
come
can
back.
definitely become him,
They're
but
going
he
after
it's not
needs to
even
play
that.
this on repeat, bro.
With Tatum,
He needs to play this
with
series on
Tatum,
repeat, bro.
It's a
with
pretty
Tatum,
large experience, yeah.
I genuinely think with Tatum, bro, it's just IQ because like there were times, and there's been times in this series, but even tonight also, this nigga would come down the court and like, even whether it be in transition or he's coming off a screen in the half court, like he'll then throw up like Draymond will just be there with the easy contest, like a smothered contest. And Tatum will just throw up a layup, contested layup, and it doesn't even come close to making it. Like he'll do that sidestep that gets no separation. Like he'll have these fucking banana peel turnovers where he just dribbles the ball off his foot or he just loses control of the ball. And I'm just like what is this? And JB's not innocent. I know JB like he hit some
He got the
shots
same
that,
issues. He got the
yeah,
same
JB got
Yeah,
issues.
the
the nigga
same
can't
problems.
dribble.
JB will dive into once there's traffic, once the paint collapse, that nigga is confused. He does not know what the fuck to do. He'll and I'm not even trying to be mean. I'm not trying to hate. But even some of these contested shots that he be taking when he's like doubled in the paint or something and it randomly just goes in, it's like it feels like it's luck. Like he lucked into making that shit. Because like he's so clumsy and he's careless. Him and Tatum, like but JB I think is
They
even
need a
more
point
careless
guard
with
like
the ball.
shit.
I remember when in Jaylen Brown in that fourth quarter ended up splitting. I think it was Clay and Draymond or Clay and Draymond. He tried to split the double team like he was fucking D Wade and lost the fucking ball out of bounds and damn near injured himself. I don't know what these niggas are doing.
I'm looking at this final celebration, bro. This shit crazy, bro.
For a Celtics fan, the most annoying thing must be knowing that y'all are the better
Steph your
team.
favorite player?
Y'all are the more talented team.
Yeah, but
they were the better team.
Okay.
No. He's right.
No. That's not what I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask Trey a question. And look, I think you saw my tweet, but like, I should probably go send it up here. But like, what did you think about my tweet? Like what I was saying about the Celtics earlier, like how we be talking about them and like the narrative being spun about them, you know? Because like let's just keep this shit a buck, bro. Like, I mean, I strongly believe if Middleton was there, the Bucks would have, you know, been in the finals.
Oh yeah,
and
for
Boston,
sure.
And Boston would have been home in April, and we would have been talking about this core peaking as a duo. You know, like this core peaking.
Yeah.
You know, Tatum and Brown, one of them needs to be traded. Like those same conversations would have been held. And like now, I think that Boston cannot come back into this offseason for plenty of reasons, thinking we can just run it back, because I don't think that's a scenario
the thing
that's
is
liable here.
I just try to give teams a chance to at least let me see what they look again, because on the other spectrum you can just say this is also a Celtics team that has made it to the conference finals several years in a row now. Like it's not like they've never gotten this close ever. You know what I'm saying? Like so they definitely have a lot of the pieces that is already there. If people want to say that they need a point guard, that's fine. I think the point guard that they need is a very high commodity in today's league. Go ask the Clippers, and they're missing that as well. So I don't think that it's as simple as that. I think that it's a better answer of just, Tatum and Brown are in their mid-20s. They can just get better as players, and then it might be a different result. But
who would be the point guard?
I think Tatum.
At this point,
I
LeBron
think
wins.
I think we live and die by Tatum.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think Tatum just needs to get better. I'm not trying to play the if
Exactly.
game. If you know Rob was there, if Chris Middleton was there, whatever the case be, I'm not trying to play that. Like we won the series. I'm not going back in time.
No, you don't. I'm not trying to.
Yeah, if I'm the front office,
wait, Trey, I'm not playing the what if
Mustard,
game.
I am a Steph fan, but at the end of the day, I'm a Celtics fan. Like Steph retires, I'm still gonna be a Celtics fan. So I don't really care that he won a final. Like, yeah, I'll be, you know what I'm saying? He won Finals MVP and shit like that. You know, no one can say anything about him no more for real. I'm glad he got his fourth, but I'm not glad he got it against my team. You know, so this shit still stinks. Like,
yeah, if I'm the Celtics front office, I'm betting on Jason Tatum improving. I'm not making too many drastic changes to this roster.
When you change the roster
we
too
can
much,
probably get Bill anyway.
knee-jerk reactions.
I was gonna say like Brown for Beal. It's starting to sound.
I'm not trying to.
I do
but
not.
I don't want to trade Brown either. Like, why are we trying?
And that's
Man,
nasty.
y'all think Bill?
That's
What
Nah,
the
that's
hell?
crazy
Y'all
as
think
fuck.
Yeah,
Bill's
Bill
gonna
not
fix
doing
Bill?
it.
Hold up.
Bill's not gonna save us, bro.
I'm about to say, what is Bill
We're
gonna
not.
fix?
We'll never.
No,
we're not,
Bill's gonna fix. Like, I think Bill will be able to curb some of his turnover issues from Jaylen Brown.
But he's a far worse defender.
Okay, and then
Right.
when he gets
a far
put
worse
on
defender.
He
defense,
doesn't need defenders.
Far worse is gassing, bro. I don't know how you just watch Jaylen Brown this finals thinking like, yo, bro, he's really clear Bradley Beal, bro. Like we going a little too, we gassing that shit. I'm not gonna lie, bro. That nigga Jaylen has very massive off ball issues defensively, bro, that need to be addressed at some point.
And and Bradley Beal's a consistent offensive player. Like he's a better off ball player. He's improved so much as a playmaker.
I think
When's the
better
last time
target
we
for
see
y'all was
Bradley Beal in a playoff
Brogdon.
setting?
Just a much
Malcolm
better
Brogdon
What do you
instead
mean?
of Beal.
Rob,
Bradley
if we're
made the
being
playoffs
honest, bro,
before.
if we're
We
being
talking
Like
honest,
actually
I
performing at a high
think
enough
you can
level.
plug. I think you can
Yes.
plug Bill into this
Beal's been in
offense
3
and be fine.
playoffs.
Robert Williams
Wait,
is erasing
what
a
am
lot
I-
of defensive
wait.
mistakes anyway this series. Like, if Robert Williams can play healthy. I mean, he wasn't even healthy this series, and he played phenomenally on defense. Like, he erases mistakes, so I think he can erase a lot of Bill's mistakes where it won't become a big issue, especially because Jaylen Brown's ass off ball. So,
Hey, speaking of Robert Williams, I'm looking at his contract after that game. And I'm not gonna lie, Celtics got a steal with that contract, bro. Because I feel like, man, he's worth more than
Yeah,
48,
didn't
48
Capella get
million.
like 100 mil?
Bro, if Rudy Gobert is worth 215 million, Robert Williams
He's
is
not,
at least worth
nigga.
80. I know he's not. I know.
Healthy, you have an argument, but
I'm just saying, like 4 years, 48 million, bro. Rob Williams
He's never healthy.
at
That's the
least deserve
problem.
80.
He's never
That's
healthy.
fair.
Exactly.
That's fair.
Availability,
That's fair.
Yeah, that nigga ain't worth no. Get out of here, man. That nigga
Another issue is
He
Al
in the
Horford is getting
second
older
half.
as well.
What
So
the
what are they gonna do
fuck?
about
And I'm
the
not even gonna
center?
lie, man.
Yeah, that's a
People
good
be
point
gassing.
about
People be
Horford.
gassing his perimeter game. Like he can move his feet and shit. Like, don't get me wrong, but the way niggas just act like he's fucking like Draymond or Giannis on the fucking perimeter, like he just be clamping niggas all the time. Like majority of this series, obviously, them dropping back was not just due to like his ability on the perimeter, but they did that shit to limit Draymond. Like that's what they did that shit for, because they took away that 2-man game. And look at what happened in last game, game 5. You know what I'm saying? So I think Rob Will, like, great player, don't get me wrong, but that nigga's too damn injury prone, man. He's never fucking healthy, and like that's the biggest issue with him. If he was healthy, maybe they win this. Maybe they win this series. Maybe they do. But
no.
It's always a maybe though.
I mean, these
It's
were
a
all
half court
wins.
for the Celtics. I don't know. That was the
like
biggest.
I'm seeing niggas. I'm not gonna lie. I'm seeing niggas gas. I've heard people say Rob was better than Gobert now. All of a sudden. I'm just like, bro.
Better than Gobert.
Because
No, I
they
don't
see
think
one guy,
I
they
don't
don't see the other.
No,
That's
no,
all.
I
Not
think
even when
Gobert
healthy,
this year.
he's better. Like
Yeah, no one
No.
watches Jazz games like that. I haven't
Yo,
watched
can I ask a spacing
forever.
question real quick? Can I ask
Go.
a spacing question? What do y'all think this does to the state of the NBA this offseason? Like the Warriors winning.
Well, first of all, KD's legacy is a fake.
Hey, that's a great question.
Nah,
KD's irrelevant,
I'm
bro.
not talking
Kevin
about.
Durant.
I'm not talking about legacy. Nigga. We're not about to do another KD.
This
thing.
nigga right here, my boy. No, let's have it.
Wait, low. Listen, we got enough time to slander KD tonight. I was just talking about like teams and like how teams respond, how Boston responds, all these other teams. Like, do you think any team is looking at this Warriors team next year coming to the offseason like, okay, if we just do one or two pieces that are realistic, we can beat this team? Like, do you think any team looking at the Warriors like that?
To be honest with you, I think most teams tell them, especially teams that have a little bit of size in their favor. Most of those teams are looking at it like we could kind of hang with them because of just their size and how favorable it is. So like, yeah, if you're the Bucks, you're definitely telling yourself like, yeah, we can hang with them. Even if you're the Lakers, I guess to a certain extent. I guess the teams that the only thing that really does shake, if you're shaky a little bit with the I don't know. I was gonna say, well, everybody else probably feel like, damn, they just did that against the number 1 ranked defense. So how much execution can you have? But to be fair, I think the Celtics played defense in a manner that I don't think a lot of other teams will do, which is the drop coverage for most of the
I also don't think that like I also don't think a team is going to be turning the ball over on average like 20 times a game.
Before you go, let me get that fact out real quick. The Celtics, I'm about to tweet it out. The Celtics are the 5th team in NBA history to have 22 turnovers in a finals game, which they did tonight. And they're the 3rd team in NBA history to have 3 or more 18 turnover games in the finals. The 3rd team.
At the beginning of this series, I honestly thought that the Celtics were going to capitalize on the Warriors' turnover issues that they were showing a little bit concerningly throughout the playoff or their playoff run. But god damn, I did not think that the Celtics were going to turn the ball over damn near double the amount of times fucking Warriors did. That shit was.
Yeah, they just beat themselves. I mean, it's like somebody said that is the okay. So, all right, I'll address this and then I'll go back to the question. So, yeah, that is. I mean, this is literally a definition of like just beating yourself, and that's why it's probably frustrating to look at them. But the other thing is, I guess the rest of the teams will just look at it through the lens of still attacking Curry as well. I just want to put that out there as well before I pass it out to somebody else. I'm telling you, I know for a fact a lot of people, I said this before, and I think a lot of people think that I'm dragging it. Just go back and rewatch how they got quality looks, regardless if it was a miss or make. They got quality looks when they got favorable matchups and they attacked the basket. That's how Jaylen Brown got a lot of his good looks. That's how Tatum made I think Tatum made his only shot half off of him pulling up on Curry from behind the arc, if I'm not mistaken. That is the only way that they were able to consistently score. The fact that they went out there and tried to challenge fucking Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins. And I give a lot of fucking credit to Wiggins because regardless of whoever Tatum is or who isn't, Wiggins played defense like that nigga was that is like literally some of the greatest on ball defense I've seen from a wing player in quite some time. He played great. He stuck on him, contested when need to. Like he was very consistent, regardless of what you think about Tatum or excuse me, Jason Wiggins. Regardless you think about Jason Wiggins.
Jason Wiggins is
That's
insane.
nasty.
That's
insane.
insane.
That nigga sunned him all series long. That nigga name is Jason Wiggins now. Whatever you think about him,
Back.
bro. Whatever you think about him, bro. Wiggins was still amazing, but the fact that they did not exploit the one thing that every team has really been exploiting defensively for the majority of this dynasty is why I think that's another big reason why they lost.
Poole too.
Yeah,
They didn't even
Poole.
attack Poole enough.
So I think most teams just realize that they have a big body who can handle the ball, get to the basket, also make their fucking free throws. Because my God, Jason Tatum and Jason Wiggins and Jaylen Brown in Game 5 were just missing very pivotal free throws. But as long as you have,
I don't also mean the Warriors though. Like what are the East teams telling themselves about the Celtics next year?
Not the Celtics.
Everybody
Should still be concerned about the Bucks. I'm not really concerned about the Celtics. If I'm every team, I'm thinking to myself, nigga, the Celtics can beat themselves. Nigga, I ain't really concerned about. If we have enough offense, nigga, they will literally beat themselves. They will turn the ball over. They will make bad decisions. I'm not that concerned about the Celtics. It will be more so about Giannis, Drew, and Middleton. That is a team that I'll be worried about. I'm not worried about the fucking Celtics.
Hey, can I ask a space
Maybe even the
question real
Sixers
quick?
can go.
Deuce Wiggins.
Jesus Christ. Can I ask a space question real quick? Like let's say the Warriors, and I don't even mean great. Let's just say the Warriors get like a decent jump from James Wiseman next year. How much more dangerous do y'all think the team can realistically be?
That's what the team was needing though. A rim running big. Oh, you can go low.
No, I was just simply gonna ask, what do you call decent? Because like if it's just like a slight defensive increase while being a vertical spacer,
Yes,
I genuinely believe that's all they actually need.
Yeah, I was gonna say being a good defender and 14 points, 10 rebounds a game. Nothing more, nothing less.
I mean,
that's all they need.
What quality defender?
I think the Warriors' path to improvement
A lonely quality
Jordan
defender.
Poole.
I agree with that. What Asher said. I think their path to improvement really is the focus on Jordan Poole becoming a better decision maker, especially with his shot attempts, and also being able to properly read the defenses when he's attacking the basket. There was times in this series because you can clearly tell the difference between Poole and Curry. I mean, obviously, but like I think Poole has a problem with properly reading defenses and understanding the right decision and also understanding pace and understanding the moment. It's starting to be more and more to me that younger players they live too much maybe in the moment where they don't understand the gravity of like, okay, nigga, we just went on like, because when they went on that stretch where they couldn't score and Poole was playing hero ball, I was like, nigga, there's no way you're fucking trying to do a one-man show. Like, nigga, you're not Curry, nigga. Pass the ball up, bro. I don't know what the fuck you're doing right now. And he finally made the reverse layup that put him on the fucking board. But I think Poole, and obviously we saw with Tatum and Brown periodically throughout this series, where it's like too much of a possession to possession like mentality, where they don't have the awareness to understand like the gravity of what this possession means because we just went fucking scoreless for the last 10 possessions.
Like one day, bro. Like at some point this offseason, we gotta just go back, bro, and watch like this series and just count how many times Tatum and Brown just ran into three people at once, bro. Because it was really ridiculous.
Yeah, that was yeah.
But again, it's just they it's too much in that strictly possession because again, it was like I'm gonna run to these three players and not even get Curry involved. I'm not gonna get Curry involved in any action. I'm not getting Poole involved. Who's in front of me right now? Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and fucking Andrew Wiggins. And that's what I'm trying to score on right now. And it's like, bro, what is you doing, bro? Like, why?
I think with JB, honestly, I think JB and look, I know I'm not one to read into like people's like mental state, but I think JB just really wanted to go at Draymond, if I'm being honest. Like, because if you saw after after game 1, JB torched him in that game 5 or game 2. Like he torched him. He was going at him Like, and I think that was the game that people
It
were
was
like,
game
okay,
one.
Draymond.
Game one where he
It was
torched him.
game one.
Game two was the game where they got into that little
Okay,
scuffle.
game three. It was game three then. Game three, he went at him because it was the game right after they got into that little squabble. And in game three, he torched Draymond so bad. Everybody was like, damn, Draymond, like, you suck. Like, everybody was shitting on Draymond and everything. And like, I think it was just like more so of a personal thing with that. And then Clay, don't get me wrong, Clay's defense has been pretty suspect since he's been back. But like, out of all the people on the court, like, if you got like, there were times in the fourth, and maybe it's because after game one they realized, yeah, we can't put Draymond and Iggy on the court. But there were times in the fourth quarter where they got Steph and Poole on the court, and you're attacking Klay Thompson.
They
Like,
did that
I
shit
get
tonight.
it.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
That
That's
shit was crazy.
crazy. That's crazy to me. I don't understand that. Like,
I mean, we
Poole
touched
is
on
one
this
of the
earlier, though.
Poole's one of the bottom 5% defenders in the league, and you can't attack this nigga one on one. You're letting this nigga get away with hard hedging you. You're letting this nigga. You're not even putting him in the pick and roll enough. That shit is just crazy to me, honestly.
Yeah, they played very nasty tonight. First off, shout out everybody in the space. Shout out the host, Legend Ash. What's up with it? All the speakers, how y'all doing? If anybody been in these spaces, they know I've been one riding with Jason Tatum. I've been trying to stay in there. Uh, was in there till the wheels fall off, and damn it, the wheels fell off tonight. What in the hell was that happened today, bro?
Tonight,
bro.
They fell off tonight.
13
Was this frauds, dog? He's a fraud.
But first off,
Man,
how they played tonight. Another. How many turnovers did they have?
22.
22.
They're the fifth team in finals history to do that.
Jason Tatum had 5.
5 alone.
Also had
Tatum and
100
Brown had
series.
10.
Awesome performance.
100
Like, it
series,
was
first-
just
first
awful
NBA
basketball. Like,
Very
I've
smelly
never
monkey
seen
basketball,
a team.
bro.
I haven't seen a team just so careless with the ball in the finals. Like, I don't understand it. Also, shout out Steph Curry. Has cemented himself in the top 10 of all time. That's number one. Also, yeah, just very disappointed in Tatum. JB came out there hooping. Did he do some JB stuff? Absolutely, but
It's
at
what he
least he
does
came
best.
out there, you know, looking like his back was against the wall. Tatum, man, it's like I don't get it because everybody sees the talent is there, but it's just like
I don't.
the intangibles and the mentality, and that's why people do go off of the quote unquote eye tests and things of that nature because if you were to draft them, you would think you got
He don't got the dog.
yeah. It doesn't look not consistently. It doesn't look like it. Like you should want to go out at least swinging. Like he just went out like, hey, if Andrew Wiggins is in front of me, I want to pass the ball. Like that's basically what he looked like.
Nah, it
tonight.
got to the point where he wasn't
Hey,
even trying to put the
You
ball.
remember?
in
You
the
remember
when
that?
Wiggins
Get
was
it?
guarding him.
I'm like,
Remember
bro,
that?
what are you
Remember
doing?
that play? Remember that play late in the game? They were making like a run, and then they passed it to Tatum. He was open for like a split second and a half on
Yup.
the right corner or left corner.
Yup.
Tatum
Steph Curry
did a
closed
little,
out to him and he hesitated. Yup. I know
yep,
exactly
and then
what
he
play you're talking
traveled.
about.
He traveled
Yup.
and everything.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
just,
funny as
Yeah,
hell.
it did
Yeah.
seem like
This was in the fourth
Tatum
quarter,
was
right?
way too much in his head. It's
Bro,
like
fourth
something
quarter.
happened in
But I
game
knew
two.
they lost tonight. I knew they lost tonight when Draymond Green hit that corner three. I said, well,
They don't
you might
lose
as well
games when he
get
hits
a
Hey,
threes,
2
man.
threes.
You
you
don't
might as
lose.
well
They
Yeah,
don't
get a
lose.
facts.
championship
Go
to the
look at the
Warriors
numbers.
now,
They
son.
don't lose when
Like,
Draymond makes threes.
Nah,
so
like they
come
went.
on.
They're
They're
19
more
and
likely. They're more likely to blow you out than they are to lose a
bro.
game when
Whenever
Draymond hits a
Draymond
three.
hits a
That's
three,
actually a
they're
crazy stat.
19 and 1, bro. Like,
Bro, not only was he
That's
making
crazy.
threes, he pulled up that mid-range jumper. I was like, nigga.
Bro,
That
he had a
But yeah,
silencer.
the
That was
Celtics
the
were on a
ugliest.
run.
That was
Silencer,
the
bro.
ugliest shit I've
Yeah,
ever
the
seen in my
Celtics were on
life.
a run at that
That
point.
nigga
yes.
That was
silenced the
cold
crowd
blooded.
after that, man. I cannot
No,
believe it, bro.
Hey,
getting
I'm not even.
stopped
I'm
by
not even gonna
Draymond
cap. I'm not even
Stone.
gonna cap, bro. Like,
Draymond's a star player, by the way. I just wanna let
everybody. Like it's crazy, bro. Like I was watching the game with a bunch of other friends.
Hey,
And
is Mr. Triple Single gonna be like? Oh, sorry to cut you off, but is that gonna be
nah,
like a positive nickname going forward? because
That
Oh
probably
yeah,
will
for
be
him.
when he
Him.
retires. It probably will because it will end his career like that. But his impact is it's probably gonna be like a triple single. But his impact is
Yo,
gonna be
that's crazy, DJ. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Why
Yeah,
you gotta
but
diss? Why
hey,
you
but
gotta
Steven,
diss
what were you
that
saying?
like that?
nah. Like this whole Steph Curry shit, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. Like the shit is actually very very crazy. Like him getting 4 rings, and I know people. There's a bunch of craziness on the timeline. I'm not even entertaining it. But from a basketball level, bro, like for real, he's one of the top. Not even wherever you want to put him at. He's one of the greatest players ever played the game, bro. Like it's so crazy. 3 years ago, everybody thought this was done, and they were able to come back, reload. In Game 6 in 2019, Clay's out. He re-injures his Achilles, re-injures his ACL, wins the championship. Draymond Green is still producing for them, and they just reload with Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, and they still got a whole young core that didn't even touch the court yet. Like we talk about dynasties, bro. Like from a basketball level, just talking basketball on a discourse level, it's one of the greatest dynasties I think I've ever seen, and its rivals like close to the Spurs in my own mind.
Oh,
But
and real quick to your point, DJ. He wasn't a big part. He wasn't a big part, a massive part this series, or even this year. But shout out Iggy, man. You know, because it might
Iggy
be his. It
yeah,
might. Yeah, I'm just saying Iggy because he was he's like the longest tenured guy
it's
outside
Iggy,
of
Iggy
crazy.
is who
Drew.
Iggy is who
So
Haslam thinks he is.
No,
That's
Iggy and Looney, and
bro,
even
Oh, Iggy always
players like we and players like Looney, bro. Niggas got to remember, like he was on the 2015 team, but like he's been there since the entire run, and like
since
he doesn't
17, right,
since
or
15. He was
18,
he
I
was
think since
drafted in
like
15.
16.
He was drafted
16,
in
or something
15.
like that.
He was drafted in 15. So like he's been there, bro. Like he's been the backup. He's done that. So like, credit to them, bro. But like the Celtics, man, like bro, I know everybody here loves watching basketball, but watching the Celtics was just painful. And I know that like people may want the Celtics to win, but seeing how Jason Tatum performed in this series, I don't want to give him a pass. He doesn't deserve one. But I do think that it's going to be a detriment on how people talk about his career because he got bottled up to the point where like he didn't even look like a player that we assumed him to be. Because I remember we were
especially if
going
he doesn't go back to the finals.
yeah, and I'm so serious because I've seen it when with like for like LeBron with the 2011 finals. People bring this up to this day, and I really want him to like make up for what happened. But bruh, man, people are not going to forget this. So we came into
Yeah,
this series thinking he was a top 10 player, maybe going into
He was
the
all
season.
NBA first
That's
team,
I
the
bro.
still
All
think I
that's
NBA
still
the
think
first
he's top
problem
team,
10. I
though.
still
and
think he's top 10.
and
MVP
and
candidate.
he probably is, and the Celtics, bro, like it's shocking how a team that is so stout on defense, and I think their defense is fine. I don't have a problem with their defense. We talked about this last time, Low, when Eli was here about the whole what can they do. But for the love of God, bro, like something like offensively, it's clear as day that there's a game plan to beat these type of players with Tatum and Brown, and they've got to figure out a way to combat that going into next season because that's the next hump. That's just the next hump for these guys. I thought that Tatum was a really really good playmaker, but it seems as if like he not even just him. The turnovers from Smart, the turnovers from Jalen Brown. There's times where they just toss the ball up and it looks like they're just lost. There are multiple
Yeah,
times where it's like they get into an offensive set, and we've seen this the entire series, and we've seen it since the Heat and Bucks series, but they look lost. And I want to say young nigga syndrome, but like at the end of the day, they've been producing beforehand. So it sucks because I actually wanted to see the Celtics win because I think they've been through the ringer for the past 5 years, dealing with Bron and Kyrie and the whole Kemba. They've been through the ringer, but they got a long ways to go, bro. They got a long
And
ways to go.
and
They do.
DJ
They just
and,
seem the
and,
more
and
disciplined ball handler, man.
and DJ, to your point, I was looking at you talking about offense. I didn't really realize how nasty it was until now. And the 4 losses, they didn't crack 100 points in all 4 of those losses. And
And
then in one
it's
of the
the dry spells.
and in one of those losses, they didn't even crack 90.
Yeah,
but you
and
know what
it
the common theme was? You know what the common theme was? They were consistently getting 18 plus turnovers. Like they're not even giving their offense a chance to get a
it's
shot up.
that
Exactly.
bad.
Like
They're
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 just
not getting
giving
shots
the
up.
ball
And
away.
you know what
It's
scares me too?
unforced errors.
And it's funny because my friends they're not like they're hoop heads too, but they're not like like in the spaces and stuff like that. But they're like saying, bro, like isn't Tatum the young, like the leaders of the best young players in today's game, right? Like like he's like more so like there's Luca, there's Tatum, there's D-Man.
Nah, man,
It's like
it's
no,
Luca. It's Luca,
It's
dog.
it's
no, no, no,
Luca.
but
It's Luca.
It's
you know what I'm
Luca.
saying.
Yeah,
You know,
he's
you know,
saying he's
I
one of
yeah,
the
think
you
he's
know what I'm
among
saying.
them.
Like
He's
You
one
would
of
hope
them.
sure.
so. You would think
yeah,
so.
yeah, the future of the league. Like these are the guys, and it's just like man, You
You
can
hope
just
so.
tell if you watch this game. You can just tell veterans, experience, all of that shit matters at the end of the day, bro. You can have so much talent, but if you have the experience and the veteran, the wherewithal to at least be in those moments, you're gonna come out strong. There was moments in that third quarter where Al Horford was literally the guy keeping them in this game. And I know people will say he's not the best player on the team, but I'm telling you, even in a league where talent is getting crazier, that veteran experience, those leadership moments, like it makes an entire difference. Because you look at what ESPN said, oh, they're the best team. The Celtics should win this series in five, bruh. Look, teams that have been there before will perform different than teams that have never been there before.
Wait, DJ, you told me Lowe's ESPN now?
Shit, I'm
Oh
saying
my
that
God.
basketball.
No. But they did. ESPN did pick them.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
basketball
they
power
did.
game.
They actually picked them.
Yeah, they picked them
This
to win
game.
in
It was like
five, I think.
80. It was like
They
86% to
picked them to win this
14%.
game.
Yeah,
They picked them to win this game.
but
So,
it's not bad though, because you know the
70,
talent.
30%.
Because I think the Celtics have the talent to beat the Warriors. I don't think honestly, no hate at all. I'm not on no hater shit tonight. I don't think this Warriors team is one of the better Warriors teams that we've seen win a championship. It is a great championship, but I think that they
Probably
can
the
get
worst,
hot.
to be honest.
Yeah, to be honest with you, but I
Not
just
even
think that
including the KD teams. You
yeah,
just go
no, I don't.
2015 and
I
16. It's
honestly
probably
think
the
I honestly
worst.
think the 2020 Lakers would beat this team. I think that it would be a good series, but
Teams that lost.
I
The
mean,
Better than this
2020
team.
Lakers are like an
the
all.
2020 Lakers are getting underrated now.
well, I mean,
I mean,
y'all know what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying because
I get what you're
I
saying.
agree. I don't think that this maybe the increased production from Wiggins from Harrison Barnes, because I don't think Harrison Barnes would have never performed like Wiggins did in this series. So maybe that. But I also I agree with you saying, like, I don't think in the echelon of like just pure talent, skill, and what you have to provide to winning, I don't think this Warriors team is at the top of the list of teams that have won in the last, like, let's just say like 10, 15 years. But I think it just goes to show where Tatum and them are at. Like, because I just think Tatum and them are just so far removed from where they kind of really need to be. And what's even crazier is if Tatum and Brown had played like Tatum and Brown, like if they win this, they finish the series averaging 25 points on solid efficiency, great defense. I actually think the Celtics would have been much higher amongst like talented teams that went on to win a championship, like much higher than what you call it. But yeah, it just comes down to execution and just understanding personnel and knowing where you're at. And I think like that's just the difference. And then when I see teams and players like this, it just gives me a better respect for LeBron, better respect from Curry, a better respect for just players who've done it over the past several years, who have proven that it's not just about a fucking bag. It's not just about has he tween, and it's not just about talent. It's not just about how tall you are. I mean, there's a level of thinking that goes into this game that cannot be overlooked. And I think we just got used to like LeBron making the finals every year, and we just saw that on display. But then you see like a young team like the Celtics try to get some type of success, and it's just like routinely they're just making bad decisions, and it's very agonizing to watch.
I do
I-
think also for
Has Stephen Curry finally surpassed Kyrie Irving as the most skilled guard in NBA history?
no.
Honestly, that whole skilled thing to me is just like I don't
Yeah,
care.
I was just about
I
to
don't
say.
care. I don't care about it being skilled.
Me
Like,
too.
Skilled,
like
nothing.
skilled is a
man,
preference.
who
Basketball
gives a shit
conversation.
about that, man?
Skilled
Nobody
is a
cares.
preference to me. Skilled is a preference to me. You can say he's skilled on offense and defense, handles, like that doesn't matter
Exactly.
to me. If you're
Skill
top
is
10,
more so
top
in the
20,
NBA community.
you're already
Skill is a
skilled.
preference.
Like
Skill is
I
a
mean,
Hakeem is skilled. I mean, y'all aren't
Yeah,
like,
Hakeem is top.
The
Hakeem is
people who
top
talk
5
about the
most
most
skilled.
skilled don't even know what skilled means.
exactly, bro. People think Gobert is not skilled because he's not a fucking
They're
offensive
stupid. They don't know what defense. They don't understand the essence and importance of defense and rebounding. So I don't listen to those guys when they talk.
What do y'all
he's a
think
great
about the
top.
Warriors? Go ahead, my fault.
No, go ahead, bro.
What do y'all think about the Warriors being undersized and being able to win? Like, not even just tonight, just throughout the playoffs, being able to like win the glass in most of these
Looney.
series. Like tonight, they had like to be an undersized team. 15 offensive rebounds is crazy. 15 offensive rebounds is crazy, regardless. But
that
Just Looney.
almost tonight.
Looney.
I think
That almost
I
made
think
me
that's
just as mad.
aren't
as
they one of the
as
best
the
conditioned teams?
turnovers, but
Give credit
that's
to Looney, man. Looney almost outplayed. Like there were times where those offensive rebounds, Looney and Wiggins, those two guys, bro. Even on shots where it looks like they were going in or missing, they're out there crashing the glass.
yeah, that's fair. And
They're-
I don't even think it was just tonight. I just think throughout the whole playoff run, they were just phenomenal. Like for an undersized team, and I get it. next year the NBA will probably make a lot of adjustment. I think they won't be as good next year as they was this year. Now, granted, they will get James Wiseman back, but I just think it's crazy how good they were on the glass throughout the whole playoff run.
That's very true. Another thing I would like to say real quick, that as far as Steph Curry in this finals run, he was great. Um, but it was as far as the number two player this series, I just also want to